Have you ever felt that little bit of mental whiplash when you see a measurement you don't recognize? Inches to centimeters, miles to kilometers, gallons to liters. It's this constant translation challenge in our world. But what if I told you there was one simple, universal key that could unlock any conversion every single time? Well, today we are going to do just that.
Okay, picture this. You're on an amazing road trip in a new country, you're loving it, windows are down, and then you see it. A speed limit sign with a number that just feels way too high. You glance down at your speedometer and the confusion starts to set in.
For just a split second, there's a little bit of panic, right? Am I speeding? Am I going too slow? You're trying to do math in your head while also, not crashing the car. It's like you're trying to speak two different languages at the same time.
Or, hey, how about this one? You're in the kitchen, you're all set to bake this incredible recipe you found online. You've got all your ingredients out, but the recipe calls for liters, and all you've got are cups and maybe a half-empty jug of milk measured in gallons. It's the exact same problem, just with a much tastier outcome at stake.
All this switching back and forth between metric and imperial can be more than just a little annoying. It can be a real roadblock. But the good news, the really good news, is that there is an elegant, powerful, and honestly, a surprisingly simple trick to translate between any of them.
And here it is. We're calling it the universal conversion key. It's really all about using something called a unit rate, and I promise you, it's the only tool you're going to need to solve these kinds of problems for good.
Probably the best way to wrap your head around this is to just think of it as a universal translator, but for numbers. You have a number in one language, say inches, and you want to know what it means in another language, like centimeters. This key does that translation for you, perfectly.
So what is this key exactly? Well, it's something called a unit rate. And don't let the mathy name fool you. All it means is it tells you how much of one thing equals one single unit of another thing. For instance, we know there are 2.54 centimeters for every 1 inch. That simple little fact, that 2.54 centimeters per 1 inch, that is the unit rate. That's our key.
And the method to use it is so simple, it's just 3 steps. 1. Start with the number you've got. 2. Multiply it by the right unit rate. And 3, this is the magic part, cancel out the original units. Let's actually see it in action.
Okay, enough theory. Let's put this key to work and see how powerful it really is.
All right, for our first go, let's take a really simple measurement, 10 inches. Our goal is to figure out what that is in centimeters.
Now for step 2, we multiply our 10 inches by the unit rate, which we'll write out as a fraction, 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. Now look closely. See how inches is on the top in our original number and on the bottom in our fraction? That's on purpose. This setup lets them cancel each other out.
Which leaves us with only centimeters. So we just multiply 10 by 2.54 and boom, our answer is 25.4 centimeters. See? Simple, clean, and perfect.
That was easy, right? Let's do it again with our road trip problem. Let's say we're 5 miles away from the next exit. How many kilometers is that? We follow the exact same steps. We take our 5 miles and multiply it by the unit rate, which is 1.609 kilometers per mile. And just like before, the miles unit is on top and on the bottom, so they just cancel each other out.
And what are we left with? Kilometers. A quick calculation and we get our answer, 8.045. So, 5 miles is just a little over 8 kilometers. That roadside problem is solved in seconds. The key works every time.
All right, you've seen me do it a couple of times. I think you're ready. Now it's your turn. We're going to use the exact same technique to solve that recipe problem from the beginning. So here's the challenge for you. You have 3 gallons. How many liters is that? I'm even giving you the key right there on the screen. The unit rate is 3.785 liters per gallon. Go ahead and pause here if you want and give it a try. Just remember the steps. Start with your number, multiply by the rate, and cancel the units.
Okay, ready? Let's check your work. You started with 3 gallons. You multiplied by the unit rate, 3.785 liters over 1 gallon. The gallons on the top and bottom cancel each other out, and 3 times 3.785 gives you 11.355 liters. If you got that, nice work. That's a lot of milk, by the way.
What you just did wasn't just a math problem. It's a genuinely useful life skill. You now have a foolproof way to navigate a world that loves to use different measurement systems. It's a key you can use anywhere, from the highway to your own kitchen. So all of this leaves us with one last kind of big question.
We've just seen how simple it is to translate between these systems using one little key. So, why do we even have different systems in the first place? Why hasn't the entire world just agreed on one? Now that is a question worth thinking about.